We have used arrays a few times, but each time the length of the array, the amount of elements, was fixed. Maybe we decided it would have 100 elements or 20 or whatever, but I want to show you that it's possible to add new elements to an array, and then this way the array is becoming longer, it's increasing its size. Let's make a little program that each time you click the screen, it adds a new element. So each time I'm going to click the mouse on the screen, it's going to add a little circle, and it will store the position of this circle in an array. So this is the basic program where we set up the size, background, and no stroke, and we have an empty draw function. So at the moment it's not very interesting. So let's declare here two arrays. The arrays are going to be the coordinates for our points, the places where we click on the screen. And it's going to be a float type, so it's going to be float x and the square brackets to indicate that this is an array. And I'm going to make this equal to an empty array. So it's here open and close curly braces. And I'm going to do the same for my y variable here. Y is another array, which is also empty, an array of float numbers. Now I have declared these two variables, x and y, as global variables. If I want to do something when the mouse is clicked, I should type here void mouse pressed. And this function will be called each time we click the mouse somewhere. So for now I could just print here mouse x and print mouse y. I'm going to use println, so they show up in different lines. And so you can see here now the coordinates I'm clicking on the screen. But nothing is happening, nothing is being drawn, and I'm not storing this anywhere. So now to add these coordinates, I want to add mouse x to my list of x variables. So I do this by typing here x equal append x mouse x. I forgot the D. It's A, P, P, E, and D. And you can see the color of the word changes when you type it correctly. And I'm gonna do the same with the y variable. Y equals append y mouse y. So the thing that was at the beginning an empty array, when I click it one time, when I click the screen one time, it will be appending this coordinate to the array. So the length of the array will be 1. And we can see this here. Let's print the length, x.length. This is how many elements the array has. So when I click it one time, now the array has 1 element, 2 elements, 3 elements, 4 elements. So they are piling up there. So I'm going to delete this print. We know it's working now. So now I should do something with this list of coordinates. I should draw all these elements on the screen. So I'm gonna make a while loop, and I will use the I variable, int I equals 0. So we start at 0, and we say that while I is less than the length of the x array. So we're gonna go one by one, checking each element in this array. First the first element, and the second element, and the third element. I shouldn't forget to increase the I variable here. And okay, now here I should do something. The easiest would be maybe I can just draw a point at x, y. That's very simple, but it will not be visible because here I said no stroke. So I'm gonna fix that here by just changing the stroke to black. And I made a little mistake because x is an array. So I have to type here which x. It's not just x. X is a variable that holds a collection of points. And here I just have to choose one. So I'm going to say x of I and y of I. I is increasing from 0 to the amount of points we have there. Okay, so let's see if this works. And yeah, we are having our points. We could have done this much easier without arrays, and the interesting thing is because the arrays are stored in this variable, now we can change we can change the positions we saved. So we could say, for example, that y of i is y of I plus 1. So we are moving the memorized point, we're moving it 1 pixel down. So every time the function is called, every time one point is drawn, we move it 1 pixel down. So now we are drawing these falling lines here. And let's add here a background 255 to erase the screen each time we call draw. And now we will see these points falling, and they will disappear on the bottom of the screen. Let's make something a little bit bigger than these points, because I think they are hard to see. Instead of using, I'm gonna remove the stroke 0, and I'm gonna make an ellipse here. Ellipse at this position, and with which size? Maybe 20 times 20. Let's see what this does. Okay, let's define the color for our ellipse. With the fill color, maybe black. Okay, so now I have these big falling points, and even they disappear down on the bottom of the screen, the array still has each point of memory. So it's a bit of a waste, because maybe we should delete them from the array, but we will see that on another episode maybe. And instead of moving this point down, we could make it shake a little bit around. For example, instead of increasing here always 1 pixel, we could say that this is equal to random minus 2 and 2. So this circle would be shaking up and down a little bit. So there we have our shaking points. And we could do the same with the x variable. So we can say here x of I is x of I plus a random value between minus 2 and 2. Sometimes it would move a little bit to the left, or sometimes a little bit to the right, or maybe we can even get a 0 and then it doesn't move anywhere. So now it's moving like on every direction. It's a little bit like these nervous dots. And you can try to draw something, but it's a bit hard to control, because let's see, I'm gonna make a square here. But these points are not behaving very well. So look at what happens to my square. If you wait a little bit, then it's just like a cloud of points. We could change the black color sometimes, instead of having it always black. Let's have here an if random from 20 is greater than 17, for example, then in that case I will make it red. So fill 25500, and otherwise else, in that case, make it black. So most of the times this random number will be below 17, so it will use the black color, but sometimes it will be greater than 17, and then it will paint with red. So now you can see these dots here are blinking red sometimes. So now we have seen that it's easy to add elements to an array using the append function. And you just you say my array is equal to append to my array. You use the same variable again. And which element do you want to add? So I'm adding here one new number to this list. And I'm doing the same with the y. And so the array always gets larger. Every time I click the screen, I'm adding a new element that is there shaking up and down.